Well, hello everyone. My name is Paul Engemann. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening or whatever time you might be watching this. Um, I'm a triple diamond with Rain International, and I've been with Rain since, 2016. So I wanted to share with you tonight something it's basic, but it's really, really important. So what I would like to talk about is the business pipeline. In other words, taking somebody from a prospect to a partner. Every thriving business runs on a pipeline. If there's flow of people moving through it, then the business thrives. But if it's not flowing through there, and if you don't have people going through the pipeline, then the business shrivels. So today, I'm going to show you a few simple steps, the steps of the pipeline, from prospect to partner. So that you can see where you're strong and where you might be stuck, where you might need to improve. So the first step is kind of obviously prospecting. You need people to talk to. So prospecting just simply means identifying people who could benefit from what we've got, whether that's the products or the business. And here's the important thing, guys. It's not about convincing or begging. It's just simply about sorting through people to find the right people. And here's the sad truth. Not everyone is a fit. And honestly, that's okay, because we're not looking for everyone. We're looking for the right people. So what kind of person do you actually want to work with? And that's an important question, because it's pretty cool that in our industry, you get to decide. You get to choose if you want to work with somebody or not by approaching them or not. So you want somebody with good self-esteem. You want somebody that believes that they're capable of success. You want somebody that's goal-oriented and entrepreneurial. So people that are looking to grow and not just stay stuck where they are. You want somebody who's assertive and willing to make decisions and who takes responsibility for their results. The best prospects are open to new opportunities, and they're action takers. They're decisive and they're determined. Now, if you flip that around, not to spend too much time on the negative, but who do you not want to spend your time chasing? You don't want to spend a lot of time trying to change somebody with poor self-esteem into somebody with good self-esteem. That's for a therapist. Not you. You don't want people who are flaky, who say they're going to do something and then don't do it or don't show up. You don't want people that are just stuck in an employee head, who are constantly looking to be told what to do. Entrepreneurs aren't like that. They figure it out. They take the next step. You don't want people who are passive. You don't want people who are kind of stuck in a victim mentality or who are closed-minded and afraid to act. You can love those people, but those are not the people who you want to build your business with. They're not the foundation of your Rain business. So where do you find the right people? Well, you've got to look in circles where those qualities naturally show up. So think about it. Where would they show up? What are the entrepreneurial environments? Well, networking events, chamber of commerce mixers, online entrepreneurial groups. I've gone to several presentations by, self-improvement speakers that are just great, and I meet people there. That's the personal growth and wellness space. So also you could look in gyms, yoga classes, wellness retreats, book clubs. You'll also find them on social media. So, people who post consistently about goals or fitness or leadership or lifestyle improvement. And don't forget professional communities like realtors, salespeople, teachers, coaches. People who already know how to influence people and lead people are just perfect for our business. So, you can also get referrals through these kinds of people. Here's the key. Prospecting is not about convincing people. It's about sorting to find the right ones. And some will and some won't. And okay, there's an old saying, some will, some won't. Someone's waiting. Next. So once you've identified the right kind of person, the second step is inviting them, inviting your prospects who are open-minded and motivated and looking to the next step. And inviting is not explaining the business. Remember, your job is to kind of expose, not to explain. It's not giving them the science behind the products or the details behind the compensation plan. It's simply creating curiosity. And you want to open the door so that they'll take a look at the information. So think of it like this. It's like building a bridge. It takes someone from not knowing anything to being willing to look. So how do you do it? Here is a simple three-phase formula that you can use every single time. The first thing is compliment. Start with something genuine. You know, you've always been so health conscious, or you're such a driven person, or I admire how you are with people. You're so friendly. Make it genuine, right? And then connect it. That's the second little step in this. Link the compliment to why you're reaching out. So, you know, you're so great with people, and that's exactly why I thought of you when I saw this. It made me think of you because of A, B, C, or D. It made me think of you because you're so focused on wellness. Then the next thing is you invite. You ask them if they're open. You're not trying to obligate them, but you're trying to figure out if they're open. So you could ask like, uh, would you be open to check out a short video? Or if I sent you a link, would you open it and take a look? Or, you know, there's a Zoom tonight. Would you be willing to hop on? So it's really, really simple. Compliment them, connect that the reason why you're calling to the compliment, and then invite. And you really don't need a long script and you don't need to drag it on. It's just those simple three steps. So there are a few different kinds of invitations. A direct invitation is very straightforward, and you can kind of use that with somebody that you know really well, or that you know that you've got a connection with. It's very straightforward. Hey, look, you know, I've started something new and I'm really excited about it. And I thought of you because of ABC reason, and I'd love to share it with you. Could I send you a quick little video? That's one. An indirect invite is for people that you don't know as well, or maybe online influencers. You know, you could approach them and say, you know, look, I've got something that may not be something for you, but you might know someone that could help. Would you be open to taking a look? A casual invitation works great on social media or acquaintances, you know, casual acquaintances. Hey, I'm curious, have you ever heard of seed-based nutrition? Or seed science, or you know, anything that connects it to rain. Here's the most important thing is what you don't do. You don't want to over explain. If you talk too much, number one, it's annoying, but number two, it kills curiosity. Also, your posture needs to be correct. You don't want to sound desperate or beggy, and you don't want to argue. If somebody has an objection, I've got a whole presentation on how to handle those. We can get into that another time. But your job really is not to just convince them right then and there. You're not trying to close them with the invitation. You're just trying to point them to a tool or get them to watch an event. Step three is presenting. Once you've prospected and invited the right people, the next step in the pipeline is presenting. So that's a little bit misleading, because your job is not to be the presenter. Your job is to point people to the presentation. Why? Because duplication matters. And if you become the expert, well, then your new prospects or distributors will think they have to become experts too. And it might stop the person from joining, or it might slow that distributor down and slow their growth. So instead, use tools and events, and tools tell the story. You just make the invitation. So I hope that makes sense. So let's talk about the tools. We've got the company videos. We've got wonderful short form videos. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter, that you can send out. Some are focused on the product, some are focused on the opportunity, or both. So there's the videos. You can send those out through the app, or they're also you know, online on YouTube. You can invite them to our Saturday events where there's a full presentation given, or some other Zoom presentation that's being given. You can give them product samples to create curiosity. That lets people experience it firsthand. And of course, your story, your short story, and your testimonial, you know, quick and personal, not a lecture. But those are powerful tools to expose people to the business. Now, here's how you set up the presentation the right way. First, you got to edify the tool or the person presenting. Don't just say, hey, watch this or listen to this. You might want to say something like, here's a short video from the company, and really it explains it so much better than I can. Take a look. Or, there's a Zoom tonight with one of the top leaders in the company. You will love this guy or this gal. Their story is amazing. But you just want to kind of set it up so that they want to pay attention, and then just let the tool or them do the work. Don't interrupt. Don't explain in the middle. Just let your prospect watch, listen, or attend. And here's another tip. If you're like sitting there with them, say you're watching the Zoom with them, you want to watch in rapt attention as if this is the first time you've ever seen anything so exciting or interesting. Don't be getting up to get a drink or moving around like you've heard it all before, because if you're acting like, well, gee, this isn't very important to me, it's not going to be very important to them. And after the presentation, your next move is really, really critical. You never want to ask, so what did you think? That really sort of invites criticism. You want to ask leading questions that open up conversations. So questions like, what did you like best about what you saw? Or what caught your interest? So these kinds of questions focus on the positives. It opens up the conversation naturally. So keep it short, because people's attention spans are limited. A good video or call is always better than a long, personal, drawn-out explanation. Leverage your team. Use three-way calls or Zooms or three-way texting conversations with upline leaders, because that builds credibility, and honestly, it takes the pressure off of you. And always, 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 always schedule the next follow-up. Don't leave it open-ended. If they watch a video today, set up a time to follow up. So presenting is, remember, about exposure, not persuasion. And the more exposures you create, the more your business grows. Some people are going to be ready right away. Some people are going to take time. Some just won't ever be ready, and that's okay. Your only job is to keep putting people in that pipeline and doing it in the way that we've described so that it's simple and duplicable. The next step 4, is critical, and it's where most distributors either win or lose. And a lot of times people fall down in this step. It's following up. The reality is that most people will not make a decision on the first exposure. Typically, studies show that it takes 5 to 12 touches. 5 to 12 times that you maybe talked to them, got them a little more information, invited them to something. So the fortune truly, truly is in the follow-up. It's like farming. I think I might have given this metaphor before, but you don't plant a seed today and expect to have a tomato today too. You got to water it, you got to fertilize it, you got to let it grow. So following up is that process of watering, fertilizing, weeding, etc. You've got to build, though, the follow-up into the presentation. One of the things that I like to say to set that up is, here's a quick little video. It's only 3 minutes, and I know you're going to have a ton of questions after you watch this, and I want to make sure that I get them answered while they're freshly on your mind. Would it be okay if I gave you a quick buzz tomorrow sometime? Would that work? And then set a next clear step. Don't ever just say, well, get back to me if you're interested. I like to sometimes ask the question, so tell me, is there any further information that you think you might need in order to make a decision? If they say, yeah, well, I'm wondering about this or that, then I'm going to give them the information, and I'm going to say the same thing. Well, this video is really short. I want to make sure that I get your questions answered. How about I give you a call tomorrow? Would 3 o'clock work? So stay in charge of the reconnection, and also be consistent. If you promise to connect at a certain time, really connect, or they're going to think you're flaky, and we don't want flaky people. So they're not going to either. It shows professionalism and reliability. You're going to get objections. Objections are normal. They usually mean the person is interested, but they might need a little more clarity. So quickly, if you get an objection, don't argue. Just say something like, I understand. I totally understand because I felt the same way. But what I have found is blah, blah, blah. And then share a quick story. It kind of diffuses that. Or, I get it. That's why I wanted you to talk to my friend who's been doing this, quite a long time and is successful at it. Would it be okay if we had a quick conversation? Things like that. So remember, the purpose of the follow-up is not to just force a close on somebody. It's to move one step closer to the close. Um, Here are some good tips. When you're following up, write down notes so that you know where you are, what you presented to them, so that you're not sort of repeating yourself. Write down what they liked best. It will keep you focused on how to follow up with them next time. So just a simple system. You can do it in a notebook. You can do it on your computer or in an app if you're techie. And don't take delays personally. If they say, oh gosh, tomorrow at 3 is not going to work because XYZ reason, hey, life happens. Just stay professional and stay consistent and set a different time. Some people say follow up until they buy or until they die. And I don't really like that saying. I agree with the spirit of it, but it doesn't mean bothering people every day. It means staying in touch, checking in naturally, and being there when the time is right. The next step, step 5, I love step 5. Step 5 is enrolling. So once you've kind of prospected, invited, presented, and followed up, the next natural step, of course, if they are moving forward, is enrolling. And this is kind of where a lot of people freeze up. They think enrolling somebody, kind of tripping somebody into the next step, means that they've got to all of a sudden shift into high pressure salesman mode, but it's actually the opposite. Enrolling is simply about helping someone take the next step. So if someone is ready, don't slow them down. If they're not ready, don't become that pushy car salesman. Okay. So how do you enroll somebody the right way? Well, you listen closely during the follow-up. If they're showing genuine excitement, if they're asking questions that show you that they're interested, maybe if they're asking questions about the product, well, show them how to get started as a customer. You know, if they're asking a lot of questions about the business, you might say something like, hey, it sounds like you're ready to get started. Let me ask you, if you were ready to get started today, which of these packages do you think might be right for you? And then just zip it. That's the uncomfortable part where you just want to keep talking and fill the void because you're afraid of the answer. Be quiet. Let them have that moment of thought and frankly a little bit of uncomfortability, um, and they'll fill the void. Okay, they'll tell you, but keep it simple. Walk them through the enrollment process when they decide they're going to enroll. This is really important for me. Confused people kind of tend to do nothing. If I just send somebody a link and they get confused by it, they might throw up their hands, and heck, I don't want that, right? So don't just send them to a link and hope they figure it out. You can either sit with them in person or you can, share a screen in a Zoom. I've done that quite a lot. Or just stay on the phone while they fill it out. And that way, you know that it gets done. Um, and once again, make sure that you're helping them choose the package that is right for them, not right for your volume goal that week. We all want to build a business. We all want to hit some goals. But if people stop trusting that we have their best interest in mind, they stop trusting, period. And this is a business built on trust. So, if they're focused on health, help guide them to that kind of a package where they're going to just try products and etc. If they're excited about the business, show them the different options that will give them certain advantages in building, but always match the enrollment option to what they are most interested in. And then celebrate their decision. This is a big deal for them. So congratulate them, say, welcome to the Rain family. You just made a great decision that could change your life and your health and your future. That kind of excitement builds belief right there, right on the spot. So once again, don't get stuck in convincing mode. If they hesitate, just circle back with more information. I always like to say, hey, is there any further information you think you might need in order to make a decision? Then I get it to them and set up the next follow-up. take care of the details, make sure they understand how do they order, where do they log in, how do they get customer support, show them the new customer manual that shows them kind of everything about the business. Really, really important. Although the enrollment might to you feel like the finish line, please know it is not the finish line. It is the starting line. You have helped somebody start a journey. So you're helping them begin their journey. And whether that's as a customer or as a business partner, you want to be there to support them, to help. Now, you're not going to babysit them just constantly. You're going to point them to where they find information. If you babysit everybody, you'll never duplicate because then they'll try to babysit everybody. It's horrid, but it's very simple to point people to the right information. So step 6 is launching your new partner. We've reached that final 6 steps. So what happens in the next 72 hours after somebody joins is really critical, and it will determine whether they build in excitement or whether they just kind of poof, drift away. And you don't want that second one. You want the first one. So help them with a quick win. Success loves speed. So sit down with them right away, either in person or on a Zoom or on the phone, and help them make a simple list of names. Remind them that they already have a list. If they're on social media, look at their friends' lists. Look at who's connecting with them on Instagram, Facebook, etc. There's a gazillion of social media platforms. And then do the first few invites together with them so that they're not, afraid. This builds confidence and it shows them how simple it truly is. Once they get past kind of the first and second one, they kind of relax and go, oh, that's not hard. And then make sure you plug them into the system. Add them to your team chats. Make sure they know the company Facebook page and the other places where they can get information. The sooner they feel part of the community, the stronger their belief becomes. And then set clear goals with them. Ask them, what do you want from this business? Is that maybe an extra $500 a month? Do you want a full-time income? Do you just want to get your products paid for? Once you know that, then you as a more experienced distributor can help them do that and get that. And you never want to try to force somebody into your goals for them. Once again, it's their goals. Help them get their goals. And then edify and celebrate them. Recognize them in your team group. Introduce them on calls. Let them feel that energy and be part of something bigger. People, honestly, they rise to the level of the recognition that they receive. I have literally seen grown men cry because they didn't get a t-shirt. Okay. People love recognition, so give it to them. It's really simple to do. So duplication starts at the launch. If you keep things simple and system driven, your new partner is going to think, hey, I watched that. It was easy. I can do that too. If you make it complicated, they're going to get discouraged. I could never do what my sponsor just did. So always keep it simple. So here's a great way to think about it. Don't just sign someone up. Launch them like an airplane taking off. And here's the thing, a plane uses the most fuel at takeoff. Did you know that? The most fuel that plane uses as far as the ratio of fuel to usage happens in takeoff. And it's the same thing with your brand new distributor. So, make sure that you support them. If you get them off the ground, they can fly on their own. All right. Well, thank you for spending your time with me tonight. We've walked through the pipeline of taking somebody from a prospect to a distributor or a customer. My name is Paul Engemann. I am Rain. And you know what, guys? You are Rain. And we're so glad you're here. Thanks so much and have a great evening.